As the podcast above mentioned, Descartes' method here is to use skeptical techniques in order to set aside beliefs that are in any way doubtful, and to seek out beliefs that are completely certain. And from those indubitable beliefs, he's going to try and prove the existence of God and the immortality of the soul. We won't get a chance to discuss those proofs in this course. We're going to instead focus on the conception of human nature implicated in Descartes' first two meditations. So let's turn here to the beginning of Meditation 1. There Descartes writes, right here, "Several years have now passed since I first realized how numerous were the false opinions that in my youth I had taken to be true, and thus how doubtful were all those I had subsequently built upon them. And thus I realized that once in my life I had to raze everything to the ground and begin again from the original foundations, if I wanted to establish anything firm and lasting in the sciences." So the thought here, right, is that he wants to break down by skeptical doubt all the things that can anyway be doubtful, and to find the one certain thing upon which he can then rebuild from the foundation up, as it were, everything that he knows. So what's the first order of business here? Descartes wants to withhold assent, he says, from opinions that are He wants to withhold assent from opinions that are completely certain and indubitable. So is he going to review each and every one of his beliefs and decide whether or not it's dubitable? No, that's a fool's errand. So instead he says he's going to attack straight away those principles which support everything that he once believed. Okay, so what's he talking about here? The first principle he wants to attack is that what is most true is that which we have received from the senses. So for example, how do I know that there's a computer in front of me? Well, I can see it and touch it, even taste it if I wanted. But Descartes argues that our senses can deceive us terribly, and so this is not an indubitable principle from which we can have certain knowledge, right? I can also, right, as another source of doubt, so here's one source of doubt. Here we've got, right, our senses are deceptive, right? But then Descartes says, well, look, I mean, it seems like my body's a pretty indubitable thing, but wait, now that I think about it long enough, let's think about how many times we've been deceived in our sleep, right? Can I be certain that the body I see in the mirror now, or that I feel as I'm sitting in this chair, isn't all just a dream? This is really a Matrix or Inception style argument. There's no way for us to be completely certain that the world we perceive is something entirely fictional because we're in some sort of dream state, right? So I could be, as a second reason for my doubt, right, I could be dreaming. I think all of you have had probably some experience kind of like this, where you didn't realize that it was a dream until, and those beliefs that you had during that dream all of a sudden became suspect. Now my beliefs become, for Descartes, even more doubtful if we suppose that there's some evil genius that's supremely powerful and clever, and has directed his effort at deceiving us. Right? Then it seems like we can't even be absolutely certain that the truths of mathematics hold. So 2 + 3 = 5 could just be a thought that this evil genius has planted in our brains. So this possibility of an evil genius is yet another reason for us doubting everything that we tend to think today. Right, so far here we have three main reasons that he's laid out in the first meditation for sources of doubt. We can doubt the reliability of our senses, we could be dreaming, and lastly that it could be an evil and all-powerful genius that's planting falsehoods in our minds. So what do we do now? In meditation